to Raising Happy and Thriving Gifted Kids, a daily podcast where you get relatable stories, interesting lessons, and practical tips to help your kids thrive and be happy while enjoying your own life even more. Today we are at the final letter of PERMA. We're talking about achievements. And, this might not be my proudest moment to share, but, if we're sharing guilty pleasures, one of the games I played for ages was first Candy Crush Saga and then Fishdom. And I am almost hesitant to admit the amount of pride I had reaching level 10,000 in Fishdom, which was also, by the way, the day I deleted the app from my phone as being an infernal time waste. But this says something about, the way we are wired as people. We are wired to like achievement, even if it's in the most inane thing, but it has to be a real achievement. It shouldn't be a participation medal. It shouldn't be, half-hearted good effort. It should be a real achievement in our own eyes. We should achieve something that we are proud to do. Well, obviously, one of the ways to get more happiness, PERMA, well-being in the form of achievement is through actually achieving things. But what it turns out is that some people have a very low return on investment on their achievements. They reach an achievement, but almost immediately they go to the next step. You reach, summit number 1 and you see summit number 2, and you reach summit 2 and you go see summit number 3. And this way you can stay in an endless unhappy loop, always thinking you're running behind. And one of the things that is really important is reflecting, looking back and seeing how much you have improved. I know there was a teacher in high school who said that a lot of 17-year-olds feel in school like they haven't learned a single thing, whether it's in English or geography or history. And one of the things that he would do every year, somewhere halfway throughout the year, when the kids would be optimally demotivated, is give them a test of 1 year before, or 2 years before. And just, this is an unannounced test I'm going to give you. Everybody's like, oh, no, you can't do that. No, trust me, take this test. And they would take the test, and it's a test about 18 months ago or 1 year or 2 years ago, and everybody would ace the test. Even the people who are the worst in the classroom or most struggling with the subject would reach a very high grade. And this is not just to stuff grades and get a higher average, but this is to reflect on the fact how much you have learned. And this is one of the depressing things about school. School keeps you in that incompetent phase for your entire school period. And, that is a challenge for some kids because they don't feel like they're achieving anything. And so we shouldn't hand them out participation medals. We should make them reflect on the things that they have actually learned. So this is actually a really good question. What are 10 achievements you have, things you have achieved in the past year? And this is actually a very interesting question to ask kids. And it shows a lot about the way they look at life and the way they look at their own life. So I really recommend you do this. And some kids have 0 answers. Some have 25 or 30 in one go. Some have 0 answers. And that means that they have a hard time acknowledging their own achievements. So a different way of asking it is, what would your best friend say that are your achievement? Or what, one of the teachers who likes you, or your grandmother who's always proud of you. What would she say your achievements are? So keep working and keep looking at different angles until you find these achievements. And if your child is not good at finding achievements, that might be a good moment to check in with yourself. How are you doing in this area? Because what I found in a lot of cases is that kids who have a hard time acknowledging their achievements are kids of parents who have a hard time doing that. And it's always good. It's always good to be ambitious and strive for new things. That gives you, the positive well-being of flow, of, reaching new thresholds and going from new tops and from new peaks. But it's also important to once in a while look back and just be happy and be proud of all the things that you've achieved. So list the 10 achievements for yourself and for your kids. If you liked this episode of Raising Happy and Thriving Kids, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast in your favorite podcast software. And if you want to dive deeply into all the things you can do to help your kids thrive, Be happier while making your own life more enjoyable. Go to smartparentingsecrets.com, where you can get free additional training. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, bring out the best in yourself and each other.